This video is going to cover the software behind wallet.fullstack.cash, which is a fully featured Bitcoin Cash web wallet that supports sending and receiving of Bitcoin Cash as well as SLP tokens, including NFT tokens. And it's white label ready, and the target audience for this video is front-end JavaScript developers who want to rapidly prototype and try out new ideas and build a potential business application on top of the Bitcoin Cash blockchain and other blockchains. And fullstack.cash is a service that sells cloud services and the blockchain as a service, and we offer this 100% open source MIT licensed Gatsby template as a way for front-end developers to very quickly build and customize their own business applications. So just real quick, as I mentioned, the features here is that it has basic send and receive functionality of Bitcoin Cash. It can also be switched over to use the new BCH blockchain. It fully supports Simple Ledger Protocol tokens, SLP tokens, including the NFT type of token. It is white label ready. It's intended to be quickly white labeled and customized for businesses to use on their own. It's 100% open source and MIT licensed. That means you don't have to pay any money, and you can do anything you want with it. You don't need to get permission. The design is mobile first, so even though it's a web page, it's designed to look better on a mobile phone. And if there's a design constraint where we have to choose the mobile phone over a desktop, we go with the mobile phone. That's what it means to be mobile first. It's also IPFS first. IPFS is the Interplanetary File System. So this website is designed to operate over the IPFS network, which is a censorship-resistant network. And much of the software that we offer at fullstack.cash and through the Permissionless Software Foundation is focused on being censorship resistant, because we believe that that's going to be an important quality in market leading Bitcoin Cash applications. So what we offer here, what this video is going to cover, is we offer both a Gatsby Starter, a Gatsby theme, and a plugin, and there are several plugins, and I'm going to get into that. But before we get into the technical details, let's get started quick and show how simple and easy and fast it is to start your own Bitcoin Cash web wallet application. So the place you're going to want to go is the GitHub repository. So that's github.com, and you're going to want to find the Permissionless Software Foundation GitHub group. And then the wallet starter, or the Gatsby Starter, is called bch-wallet-starter. So I've already got it here in the browser. So it's github.com, and again in the Permissionless Software Foundation group and the bch-wallet-starter. Read these instructions, and really this is the only command you need. Assuming you have Node.js installed and NPM and Gatsby as a global resource, you can just simply go Gatsby new, the name of your project. In this case, we're going to call my BCH Wallet app, and then the starter repository, and it will automatically clone the GitHub repository and install the dependencies. And this is going to take a minute, so I'll pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, it finished installing the dependencies, and it will prompt you for the next commands. You're going to want to change into the directory that you just created, and then type Gatsby develop. And this will build the wallet app in developer mode, which means that as you change files, it will automatically update, which is really convenient. And so you can just click on this link, And there you go. Now you can get started. You have a fully functional web wallet that is non-custodial, running on your computer, so that's pretty handy from like a personal privacy standpoint. And you can immediately start customizing the code base. You have the ability to send and receive tokens, to send and receive Bitcoin Cash, as well as SLP tokens. This is where you'd send the Bitcoin Cash. It will generate a wallet. I already had one cached, but I could create new wallets or import a mnemonic from another wallet. And there's just basic configuration options. You can choose the different blockchains to use. So there's the ABC blockchain and the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. This is for increased rate limits through fullstack.cash, but you probably shouldn't need that. This wallet works pretty good without any paid services. And there's a couple extra plugins and components that come with the Wallet Starter, and I'll get into this in a minute. But just what I wanted to emphasize here is just how quickly that was. That just took a couple commands to get started developing your own Bitcoin Cash wallet application. So, in order to talk about customizing the application for your own business use case, it's important. What I'm going to focus on the rest of this video is the architecture and the vocabulary and the way everything is put together, so that you can better understand as a developer how to begin customizing this wallet app for your own use case. And so the heart of this starter that I just showed is actually the theme, the Gatsby theme, and that's called Gatsby IPFS Web Wallet. And here is the code for the Gatsby Starter that I just showed on how to get started, and the Gatsby theme is in this package.json file. It's one of the dependencies, and it's listed right here under the dependency. And so the only thing you'll really need to do from time to time is update that version as the Gatsby IPFS web wallet is updated in order to keep your site up to date. But that's the core wallet functionality. And I've got this demo here at demo-wallet.fullstack.cache. This is the same starter that I just showed. This is exactly the same thing. It's got exactly the same plugins. Gatsby IPFS Web Wallet, that core theme, is also available as a live demo, and it's very similar. It's just missing the plugins. This Gatsby IPFS Web Wallet is minimalist by intention. It only contains the basic sending and receiving of Bitcoin Cash, sending and receiving of SLP tokens, generating a wallet, and that's it. The idea here is that anything that can be a plugin should be a plugin, so that these websites, they start with the smallest, most important functionality, and then you add additional functionality as plugins. So the idea is that if it can be a plugin, it should be a plugin. So before I get into how everything is wired together and how to start customizing your application, it's important that we cover some fundamental concepts as well as some vocabulary. So in order to really start customizing your own web wallet, you need to understand these basic Gatsby concepts. Starters, plugins, and themes are closely related, and it's important to understand like what they are and how they're different. And so there's the great page in the Gatsby docs that talks about these. But real quick, a starter is what I just showed. It's a way to quickly clone a website and build on top of it your own custom website. Plugins are, like you'd think, they're plugins. They're extra pieces of functionality that you can add or remove from a Gatsby site themes are a type of plugin. They are a plugin, but beyond the plugin, they have more control over the visual parts of the site. So that's what sets the menu options and that whole dashboard look and feel. And so I highly recommend that you stop the video here and make sure that you have a clear understanding of plugins, themes, and starters before you move forward. Second, another couple really important concepts, and these are, I think, considered more advanced Gatsby concepts, but they're critical to the way we're going to be doing things with the web wallet and the way that plugin architecture works, is these concepts of component shadowing and component extension. And again, there's some great documentation on this in the gatsbyjs.com documentation and their blog. What is component shadowing? This is a great article that talks about it. But basically, I'll show it in the code in a minute. And then once you understand this concept of component shadowing, which is kind of like overwriting a component, there's extending shadowed components. So sometimes you don't want to overwrite the whole thing. Sometimes you just want to take the old component and add new functionality. And so that's what extending is. And so I highly recommend that you understand these concepts before moving forward, because they're critical to understanding how the web wallet is put together. So some very simple vocabulary that I frequently use when describing the different parts of the web app is, so this is based on the admin LTE dashboard template. It's an open source template that was originally in Bootstrap, but it's been converted to React. And if I resize the window to like a cell phone, you can see that the mobile first aspect to things, this is how it would look and feel on a mobile phone. And then, of course, as the display gets bigger, it automatically adjusts. And this menu over here is obviously called a menu, and the items in the menu are called menu items. So those are menu items. And then as I click on the different menu items, notice that the page is not reloading. This view is being changed. The old stuff's being hidden and the new stuff is being shown. So this is what I call a view. So this is the menu and this is the view. And then within each view are cards. So this is a card and this is a card. And so when trying to talk to someone about different subcomponents of this wallet, that's the typical vocabulary. Menu items, views, and cards. And the vocabulary is reflected in the actual architecture, where cards tend to be their own component, and then they go into a view component. And so these discrete pieces of the user interface are actually tend to be discrete files of code. So now that we're armed with some basic understanding of the important Gatsby concepts and the basic vocabulary, we can start to dive into like the overarching general architecture. So this is a very modular architecture. So again, if it can be a plugin, we want it to be a plugin. This will allow people to rapidly iterate and customize the wallet, and so think of like Lego blocks of, you can just find the Legos that you need and quickly attach them, and then just focus on the Legos that you don't have and build those to build a complete business application. And so, as I mentioned, everything kind of starts with the Gatsby IPFS web wallet, which is a Gatsby theme, even though as a developer you don't directly interact with this. This is kind of where it's starting. As a developer, you would start here with the Gatsby Starter, like I showed at the beginning. And Gatsby IPFS web wallet, the Gatsby theme, would just naturally come along for the ride. From there, you would follow that the instruction that I showed at the beginning to basically clone this and start your own site. And then from there, you would add or remove plugins and begin customizing your site directly. So using the example of the BCH wallet starter that I showed at the very beginning, there's a couple there's one plugin that comes along for the ride just to show how plugins sort of are wired, and it's a very simple plugin. So if I go to the demo for the starter, which is demo-wallet, again, this is the same exact wallet that I generated at the beginning. It has this demo component menu item, and it might help to compare and contrast this with the vanilla Gatsby theme, Gatsby IPFS web wallet. This does not have any of the extra plugins, and so the starter does, though. It has this demo component which shows how to create like a custom menu item and view inside your own wallet app, and then there's this transaction history plugin, and it's an extremely simple plugin that just retrieves the transaction history for the wallet. And it's shown here in two different ways. Here it has its own view and menu item, and then it's also embedded in the wallet view here at the bottom. And yeah, it's very simple and it's very ugly. It's really just here to show. It's kind of expected that you'll remove this when you start to customize your own web wallet, and just you can follow these patterns of, if you're wondering, oh well, how do I add a new card to the wallet view or to an existing view, how do I do that? That's what this is designed to show. Or how do I create my own new menu item? That's what this is designed to show. And so this is a modification from this general architecture for this in particular. That wallet starter that generated your site is made up of the Gatsby theme and one Gatsby plugin. And so you can feel free to remove this plugin, but as you develop your own plugins or components within the site, it's there to show you how a pattern to follow. So I think this is just covering this slide just covers what I just said about the demo component. Let me go ahead and show in the code real quick. So this is the Gatsby wallet starter, and all the code that you're going to customize is in the source directory. And of particular interest is, I'll just close this up. So we just opened the source directory. Of particular interest is inside the Gatsby IPFS web wallet. Now this is an example of component shadowing. We have the Gatsby IPFS web wallet component and its components in here, and we're shadowing it. We're using the same file layout, and so, for example, this menu components file is overwriting the default menu components file in Gatsby IPFS web wallet. That's what lets us customize the menu and add these two new menu items, the transaction history and the demo component. That's these right here, the transaction history and the demo component. So this is how you add new menu items. And then there's also the site config. This is how you customize different things. The title, these words here, when it's open and collapsed, are controlled right here. What you call your coin, this BCH balance, and some people like to have historically used this web wallet to create their own token-based wallet that doesn't actually, even though it works with Bitcoin Cash, you wouldn't know it by looking at it. It's like a token-only type wallet. And that's a common application for this web wallet. So if whatever you call your token, you could have it displayed up here by changing that word. And same with this icon, this Bitcoin icon, you could change that. This information down here has to do with the footer. So as I said, this is an IPFS first website. So if you click on the link down in the footer, it'll open the same website but on the IPFS network in your browser. And that's one of the ways your app can be censorship resistant. There's also a link to the Tor. This website's also simultaneously served over Tor, and so this is the link to the Tor, and this is where you put that information. And if you want to know more about the web server that is able to broadcast all these over the same channel. Let me show you where to find that video. Again, in Permissionless Software Foundation, the web server that is combined with these Gatsby sites is here, this Docker Gatsby web server. And it's a series of 3 Docker containers that will build and serve this web wallet. And there's a link in the README to a YouTube video just like this on how to install and use the web server that can simultaneously broadcast over Tor, IPFS, and the clear web. So these are some of the ways that you would customize your site. So to get back to these components, the demo component and the 2 different ways of displaying this transaction history plugin, let's see, where are we at? So here in the wallet, so again, this is an example of component shadowing, and you'll want to study the Gatsby IPFS web wallet repository, which is also in the Permissionless Software Foundation right here. It's actually one of the it's pinned at the top with the wallet starter. And to really dig into how we're doing the component shadowing, this is a good example of how it works. But here we're shadowing the wallet view, and we're adding this transaction history. We're adding a card, and we're adding the transaction history, and that's how we get this plugin inserted into the existing wallet view. And then there's also, in the menu components, we have the transaction history plugin has its own separate menu component. So this is a way of displaying a plugin with its own menu component. And there we're calling the plugin component directly. So it's right there. And this is where we call the actual npm library. And then, of course, as with a normal Gatsby site, there's the Gatsby config where you call out the plugins that you're adding. And then finally, there's this demo component, which is not a plugin. It exists within the site, and that's right here in the source directory, this demo component. And so this is the component, the code for this demo component. And the way we add it in there is with that menu components file. We just add it to the array and link to the demo component, which is called out right here. That's where it's imported. So these are different. Obviously, I've gone through this really quickly because I'm expecting that anyone who would want to customize a site will do the homework of understanding how the Gatsby framework works, how components work, how plugins work. And so these are all following the normal Gatsby frameworks and conventions. So now that I've shown the starter and I've explained how that works, I'll go through a couple of other websites that have used this Gatsby site and theme and plugin architecture to build some business applications. The main one is wallet.fullstack.cache, and that's the main sort of showcase wallet offered by fullstack.cache. And actually, if you notice, since the fork, the ABC bch fork, when you go to wallet.fullstack.cache, the URL will change to bchn-wallet.fullstack.cache because this is on the BCH network. And then if you want to use the same wallet on the ABC network, you would go to abc-wallet.fullstack.cache. So this is talking to a different blockchain, but it's the same exact software. The only difference is in the configure view. This is how you switch between the 2 blockchains. There's 2 different servers. They're each on a different chain, and depending on which server the wallet talks to, the fullstack.cache server, and you can set up this all for yourself and for your own business. And so the way this site was built, it was the same way where it started with the IPFS, the Gatsby IPFS web wallet Gatsby theme, and the BCH wallet starter, and we generated a new site just like we showed at the beginning of this video. I removed the transaction history component and I converted that demo component into an about page. This is literally the same component, I just changed the text. And then this wallet has one plugin that we developed specially for it, and it is the paper wallet sweeping tool. And so this lets you open the QR scanner and sweep a private key. And we have a video on the Permissionless Software Foundation YouTube channel on how to generate paper wallets and sweep paper wallets, how to use this feature. And so it's pretty handy. And so if you have a business application that you want to do paper wallet sweeping with, that's an available plugin that you can just add to your site. And then I already talked about the About menu item. So these are essentially the modular components that make up the whole site at wallet.fullstack.cash. So this same architectural pattern is what you would follow to build your own customized business application. Yeah, so this just is what I already mentioned. We removed the transaction history plugin and we added the paper wallet sweeping plugin. So there's currently a few different plugins. We have that transaction history plugin, which is very simple and pretty ugly. And we have a paper wallet sweeping plugin, which I just mentioned. We also have an SLP post office. And I'll be putting a demo up in the next few days, a live demo for this. There's both a post office server and the post office plugin for the wallet. So there's two parts to it. And we have this plugin. And what it does is it allows for a native token experience. So I talked about one common use case for this web wallet is to create a one token focused wallet so that people can. So I'll just use an example of like a farmer's market. If a local farmer's market wanted to have their own local currency, they could have the farm token and customize this web wallet. And by using the post office, people can pay the transaction fees natively in the token. So the people using the app don't need to know about Bitcoin Cash. They don't need to be educated about it. They can at a later date, but it's not required to use the app. They can just, someone can just give them some farm tokens and away they go. And it lowers the friction to onboarding new users. That's the main advantage of the post office. So plugins are really nice because they're modular, and that makes them easy to share and to add and remove from a site. But they are harder to develop. In terms of developing, what we've found, me and the other developers who've built this software, is that it's usually easier to customize a site and add new features directly to the site. And then once you've understood, hey, this particular feature is really nice, and we should turn it into a plugin to modularize it so we can share it better. That's usually the better path forward. Rather than starting with plugins, just customize your site, identify the areas of it, the features in it that you want to pull out as a standalone plugin, and then do it that way. That's just an easier development workflow. And I will do a separate video on plugins and how to create them and the ins and outs, and I'll spend a little more time on the code. So there are some other wallet apps that have been developed with this Gatsby site and template. Torlist.cash is in progress, but the idea here is it's like a curated list, which were really popular back in the days before search engines. And Tor and IPFS and other deep web networks are sort of stuck in this pre-search engine era where Google won't touch them, the normal search engines won't touch them, so a curated list may be the best way to do it. And with tokens you can do that in a way to prevent spam. And so the idea behind Torlist is it puts deep websites like IPFS sites or .eth sites or Tor websites on equal footing with clear web websites. We're going to have categories, and people will publish a link to their website by staking PSF tokens, and that's their entry into the database. And then people who want to find websites on a particular category would go to that category. And so it's still very rough. We're still experimenting it, but this is one business application that we're exploring with this customizing this Gatsby theme. Also, message.fullstack.cache is sort of a community gateway for the Permissionless Software Foundation community, the PSF community. So when it loads, this is our blockchain-based community feed. It's kind of like a Twitter feed. And its main purpose is to send and receive end-to-end encrypted messages, which use the Bitcoin Cash blockchain and the interplanetary file system. It also has a tool for signing a message, which is how you gain access to our VIP chat room by proving that you own an address and that it holds tokens. And we have this file upload area where you can upload a file and pay in Bitcoin Cash to have it hosted on the IPFS network. And then beyond that is the normal wallet features. So this is turning into a fairly full-featured, customized web app for the PSF community, and it's based on this same architecture. So again, remember that get started quick. Just a couple commands, you can have your own web wallet running, and that's a great way to just jump in and dive in and start customizing it, start breaking things, see how things work. And if you want to know more or get support, we have a Telegram channel. Just put this into your web browser, t.me/bchjstoolkit. That's our community technical support for fullstack.cache. And let me take a moment to point out fullstack.cache. This web wallet Gatsby theme is just one of the tools that we offer at fullstack.cache. It's a stack or a framework of how to go from a phone app or a web app to the blockchain, and the framework has all these layers in it, and so if you want to get started as a developer, as a front-end developer, you don't really need to know much about those lower levels. But we've got JavaScript libraries and REST APIs, and we have free access to the REST API, and when we have increased rate limits to the REST API for a fee for businesses. But we offer a lot of free tools, and what you want to do is scroll down on the bottom, explore the examples. We've got quick start code and videos, walkthrough videos like this. We've got documentation, and then we've got this Telegram community support channel if you get stuck and need help or just want to talk to other JavaScript developers. And then I also should mention the Permissionless Software Foundation, which you can find at psfoundation.cache. It is a organization that is concerned with free speech, privacy, and economic action, and it's mostly JavaScript developers and people who are passionate about these subjects, building software and funding software to further these goals. And you can find that at psfoundation.cache. This is we've got our own token, and you can watch this video and find out more about the PSF, what it represents. And if you are a JavaScript developer or just a passionate libertarian-minded person, we are always looking to add more people to our community. And there is also a Telegram channel for that. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can find us there. Okay, have fun, and